Hey everybody, Jerry Cohen from Ebbets Field Flannels. We're coming to you today from the Queen Anne Beer Hall in Seattle on a gorgeous rainy April day, and got something very exciting to share with you today. We're going to talk about our new collaboration with 47. A lot of you know 47. They make great licensed apparel. I initially knew them as Twins Enterprises back in the 80s from their original retail store outside Fenway Park in Boston. And then we would see them every year at the winter meetings at the baseball trade show. And they're a great group of people, really good at what they do, really creative, and we can't thank them enough for working with us on this collection. We've done a group of authentic Major League Baseball hats going back to roughly 1900 to 1950. And the name of the collection is the Golden Age Collection. The reason we're calling it that is that 50-year period was the golden age of the modern era of Major League Baseball. So we have decided to pick one cap and one cap only from each of the original 8 American League and 8 National League clubs. And this was before any franchises moved and any expansion. And the other cool thing about that time period is they also basically had the Ebbets style construction you all know and love. So let's get into it. So in this collection, we decided to choose one cap and one cap only to represent each of the original 16 Major League Baseball teams. We didn't necessarily choose the most popular cap or the most well-known cap. We tried to choose some that were perhaps only worn one year or had a story to tell in some other way. So for example, this Yankees cap I have here in the middle was only worn in 1915 and partially through the 1916 season. We just happened to have some of this alternating blue and red pinstripe fabric. We had just enough to make 1 or 2 production runs of this cap. So this is a 1915 Yankees. Right after they changed their name to the Yankees, they were you historians out there know they were the New York Highlanders before that. And then they moved into the Polo Grounds, which they were tenants of the Giants, and played there until Yankee Stadium was built several years later. Moving over to Brooklyn. You all know we're very big on Brooklyn. We're very big on Jackie Robinson. In 1947, the Dodgers and Jackie Robinson, at least for part of the year, wore this 8-panel cap. Now, most of you cap collectors probably have seen pictures of the Dodgers in a conventional 6-panel cap. But one thing we found out doing this research was that it was not unusual for teams to use multiple manufacturers even in the same season. And there wasn't as much uniformity between different hat styles, perhaps one worn earlier in the year, one worn later in the year. So we know through our research that the Dodgers did indeed have one of the last Major League 8-panel caps, 1947, perhaps into 1948. Then we go over here to Boston. The Boston Braves, who of course now are the Atlanta Braves after a stop in Milwaukee, fell on very hard times in the mid-30s. The team actually went bankrupt. They tried signing Babe Ruth at the end of his career to give them some panache with the fans. That didn't even work. A new owner bought the Braves, wanted a fresh start, changed the name to the Boston Bees, changed the color scheme. So 1938, this is the Boston Bees cap, also an 8-panel cap. Now what we're going to be doing with these caps is for the first day before they're released, we were going to make them available as complete American or National League sets. So on Monday, you'll be able to buy these as an 8-team set, and then on Tuesday morning, we're going to release them and you'll be able to buy them as individual caps. So again, this particular collection, we chose one cap per team. We wanted to have some variety between styles of hats, so we've got a few 8-panel hats. We even have one of the night satin hats that were worn by a few teams in the 1940s. So it's kind of an interesting mix. It goes from the first decade of the century, last century, up until roughly 1950, which was the 50th anniversary of this modern era of Major League Baseball. We know that many of you have been waiting years for us to come up with MLB vintage caps and the classic Ebbets style. I really want to give a huge thank you to 47. We worked very, very closely with them for several months to bring this collection to you, and we quite honestly would not have been able to do this without them. We hope we can do additional collections like this in the future, but thanks for your patience, and we're looking forward to your response to these great hats.